All right, today is July 11th, 2025, and this is our account update for today. So, as of Friday close, or as of the close today, the account is sitting at the total equity $56,884.91. The total cash value in CAD is $60,049.01, and the market value is negative $3,164.10. I don't know if there's a glitch or something, but pretty much during the day, it'll trade like the total equity. It shows up as like 57,700, for example. So that's what I saw today. The moment it closes, it just the balance drops. So I'm not sure what the calculation is, but let's just say our total equity is what it shows right now, $56,884.91. The max buying power that we have left after today is $26,287.74, and that should increase after a lot of these options expire worthless today. Our USD cash balance is $22,004.21. So there's a lot of moves made this week. I didn't record them all, but I'll see if I can give a recap of kind of what I did. But anyways, we opened up some new positions or some new tickers. So we started selling some puts on Apple. So today we closed out one a little bit early, but it was a 205 put, and we have one open for next week. It's a 202.5 put, as well as a 207.5 put. So we're just gonna let those get a little bit closer to expiry. Once again, around 60-70%, we can consider taking profit. One thing that I need to do or need to learn a little bit better is just when to take off or close out positions. So I'll show you an example later of where I did screw up. These AMD puts for next week are new. I just opened them up today or maybe yesterday, but we're going to let these ride throughout the week and then potentially take profit early. These are the long calls that we're just holding. We're actually green on them, so that's really good, but we're just using them to write calls against. These are the short calls. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had some short calls in this 140 range, and I ended up rolling them up and out. So those ones have all been closed. They were closed for maybe about that 60 to 70% profit mark. Although at one point they were all over 90% in profit. I thought AMD was headed down a little bit more this week. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way, but yeah, we did close those out early, still for profit. But I had opened up a lot of other short calls, which I ended up having to roll. So these are the ones that you're seeing here. We have the 144, 146, and 147 expiring 2 weeks from now. So once again, we're probably not going to write too many more short calls. We're just going to let these ride. Two of them are covered by the long calls up here. So the February and December long calls, two of them are covered. One is uncovered, so we'll have to manage that. But I'm hoping, AMD kind of dips a little bit. It could still run. I think the next target is around that 170. On the low side, it could go down to the 120s, but we're just gonna let these ride and see how it goes, and hopefully take profit at the right time. So 60 to 70%, I really think we can consider taking profit. I don't have a stop loss for these. I'm just gonna let it get a little bit closer to expiry, and then hopefully they can expire worthless. Otherwise, I'll have to roll up and out. So eventually these strikes might get a little bit closer to the 155 and 160 strikes. So that's possibly something we may have to look forward to in the future. These gold calls, so I had a couple other ones that I opened up before we closed early for a profit, and opened up some new ones. This is the 309 and 310 call. They were in the green, but today gold kind of pumped a little bit, about 1%, and it closed just above 309. So what I did was around the 1 or 2 p.m. mark, I closed these and rolled them up and out. So we have one For next week, it's the 313 call. In July 25th, it's the 315 call. And so now our call strikes are aligned with our put strikes. So let's see how those go. We're just going to keep watching how gold trades over the next weeks to months. We've also opened up some new positions in Google. So this 172.5 put that we wrote expired worthless, or it expired worthless, but we closed out early for 90 something% profit. We have one for next week, the July 18th 172.5 put, and we have a longer term put, so that's for August 15th, and that's the 160. All right, so we're gonna try to keep playing Google. I think right now I'm comfortable selling puts. Maybe we can turn them into strangles later on, but right now, just to kind of learn Google a little bit, see how it trades, we're just going to start off with some short puts. So for Hood, after this week, we won't have any more open puts. We could possibly write more later, but everything's pretty much expiring. This 101 July 11th call, I wrote it yesterday, and during the day, Hood went up to maybe around 101, and so this was trading at a small loss. I ended up rolling it up and out, so until next week for a 108 strike. So that you can see here down at the bottom, we received $112 in credit, and we are now up about 41% on that. So possibly early in the next week we can close this out for a profit. These are the last two puts that I have on Hood. So after today, I won't have any puts, but I may consider opening some new positions in the next couple days to weeks. Let's see how Hood trades. And Palantir, we ran a successful strangle here. So the 145 call strike, I closed early only for a $19 profit, but it was getting a little bit close and I didn't want to have it tested at all. So we just closed it early, still for a profit. Could have made a little bit more, but I think this was the safe play. And then the 147, 148, and 150 are all going to expire worthless. We have the 134, 136, and 138 short puts, so those are going to expire worthless. And lastly, we have the longer dated 120 short put for Palantir, and we are up 43.5%. I think we could probably start to think about closing it soon. There still is a lot of time left, and we're up, close to 50%. So I think it's reasonable to be able to, it's reasonable to consider closing that out. But we'll keep watching. And next week I'll open up some new positions on Monday and let those ride for the week. But this is what we're working with here. So I'll just scroll through all these here. I'm gonna try to keep trading Apple and Google. Let's see how these AMD calls go. But overall, happy with the performance. Happy to see the progress. And once again, still being a little bit cautious. I don't want to go crazy on the risk. I do realize that I'm using a lot of buying power, so there's a major buying power reduction, and so that is a sign that maybe it is a little too risky. So just something to think about. So lessons for this week, close out early, even if it's profitable, especially, and there's not much, and there's still some time left, and you're very profitable on the trade. Close that out early. And maybe just go easy on the buying power reduction. So that's it for me today, and I hope to give a couple more updates next week as I continue this options journey. So that's it.